Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Airbnb Nomads podcast. You're here with me, Alex, and the main man, Mr. Pooh. And in this week's property education masterclass, it's going to be just the two of us, and we're going to be diving into the incredibly deep topic all around mental health. Now, mental health is a topic that we are both incredibly passionate about, so please stay tuned. I guarantee you're going to learn a lot in this upcoming episode, and we're really looking forward to getting stuck into this topic. So here we go. We are here every week talking all topics around Airbnb, property in general. But this week, we're just going to hang out, just the two of us, and do a little bit of an impromptu kind of back and forth between Pooh and myself, talking about some topics which we both hold pretty close to our hearts. So how you doing, Pooh?
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, brother. You know, as nice as the podcasts are, and it's really nice meeting all these amazing people. 100%, you know, it's nice to just settle into a relaxed kind of back and forth conversation about some things that, you know, when we talk, stuff just kind of comes, right? It just kind of flows, and you know, there's so many big topics to talk about. We're never short of we've got a few podcasts in us, that's for sure. Just talking about stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I guess most of the time we don't even know where we're going, but it's nice to see how you can just touch on so many different topics with different people, and you know, and just be real about it. So,
I think one of the absolute fundamental pillars that this whole thing is built on, that we agreed right at the get-go of this whole thing, was that we wanted to be genuine, and we didn't want to pretend that, you know, we were perfect, that property is perfect, that Airbnb is perfect, that, you know, there's nothing that's perfect, especially in today's world, which is a pretty fucked up place and very dark for a lot of people.
Very dark. 100%.
So I think today's topic that we've decided to go with is quite suitable for kind of where we are in these times. So obviously, as kind of most people have guessed, we're kind of alluding to the big topic around mental health, which, you know, is discussed a lot, right? And I think it's important that we touch on it because we both, obviously, you know, we've known each other for a long time. We're in business together, and we know that each other, we've been quite open and vulnerable and transparent, that we both, you know, experienced and still do experience, you know, I don't know about whether you class it as mental health issues. I think that's quite a strong term, but I think a generalized kind of, you know, there's always that kind of minor, you know, for us kind of, I guess more minor, like always that anxiety, always that worry, you know, always that comparing syndrome, which we all kind of suffer with these days.
Yep.
So I think we should discuss
I think it's the build up from there that's gonna lead to, you know, a bigger issue. And a lot of time, you know, we don't really talk about it enough. I mean, to be frank, we tend to hold things back. We tend to keep it all to ourselves. It's not with it, you know, it's not our nature, perhaps, maybe, to come out and be open about everything. But business can be extremely lonely sometimes, and, you know, and then the next thing you know, you start scrolling through your phones and start comparing with other people. And just kind of put yourself right back. So
absolutely. And you know, I don't know about you, I know that you're kind of talking quite specifically about business. Personally, and I'll just be completely open and honest and transparent here because I think it's important. Like I'm better now, but I've been through multiple stages in my life where I was really, really in a dark place, but it was more, I suffered with that more related to relationships, where I had like long-term relationship breakdowns. One situation where a partner of, you know, 3 years, wasn't like a 30-year marriage, but she was unfaithful, you know, and that just absolutely, you know, I was on the floor. I ended up, you know, on medication, you know, lots of therapy. I was a complete wreck, you know, and that's always an ongoing and ever kind of developing, you know, process where you're always trying to get yourself into a more, you know, stronger, more self-loving place where you can almost build up the barriers to make sure that if you ever were to go through that again or experience that again or be in a situation like that again, you're going to deal with it better. Because obviously it floored me to a point that affected me so much because of not just, it wasn't that immediate situation. It was because things that were wrong within me that allowed myself to be affected that much. So it's about always trying to work on yourself and kind of become the best you, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I had the same, you know, very similar issues with myself, with the family, with my wife. And a lot of times it boils down to, let's say, for example, me just being very ignorant about not knowing about these mental health issues. And a lot of times, you know, when we are going through like some struggles, we just said, you know what, we both have to man up at some point and just get on with it. But that's not right. Because there are times when you have to be, you know, compassionate with each other. You have to understand the pain of other people and then help them to get through that part together, you know. So, but it didn't happen a lot of times, and we had to go through some dark places too. So, yeah.
And I'll tell you what I know truer than anything, right? Anyone in this world who says, oh yeah, I'm good, life's great, I'm happy, I'm this, I'm that. If you put them in a room, right, in a kind of, I don't know, I immediately go to like men's group kind of situation where you take men, right, and you put them in a room and you really drill deep down into them and how are you, right? How are you? And you start dragging things out of them.
Yes.
I guarantee almost everyone will break down in tears.
Yeah. Yep.
Once you dig deep enough and you dig into their soul and you really start, you know, putting that person under a microscope in a good way.
Yeah.
There will be an incredible amount of unreleased emotion that's buried deep in a place that they've purposely built,
hide it away,
hidden away to be
Mm-hmm.
inaccessible. And I don't know about anyone listening, but or whether or not they've been through that process. I've been through that process. I mean, I'd like to go there again. It's a very, very scary place. But just a real quick story. It was about 3 years ago. I went over to Germany, and I did a plant medicine retreat. It was the lighter version, like it wasn't the hardcore like ayahuasca that they do like out in the Peruvian rainforests. It was something called San Pedro, which is like a cactus plant medicine. Mm-hmm. And the purpose of it is that it's a heart medicine. So it unlocks and allows you to access emotion that we all bury. Mm-hmm. And it was 3 days of looking into yourself and being able to access that kind of emotion. And man, I've like talk about tears, like, but not like a deep sadness. It was more like a beautiful, really beautiful experience. And I remember like the shaman, Turio, who's a really good friend of mine now, big guy, big German guy. And he's got all the beads on and the big, Indian, like Navajo Indian, like, hat and all the feathers and everything, mate, like a real spiritual guy. And I remember just like hanging on to him, just like, it's just like, it's all coming out. And he's just like holding me, he's just like, release it, brother, release it, let it go. And man, it was intense. I would recommend that to anyone. But yeah, I guess my point is that everyone's got it in them, and everyone's got a dark place.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a crybaby. You know, I do cry a lot. But personally, I haven't.
Is that just when you get a good book in one of the units, or is it?
Occasionally, but most of the times, I do have a lot of things hidden away, locked away as well, and sometimes it's really deep. But I do tap into it once in a while, because I need to let it out. I can't hold it, all the time because it's building up. Each day you got more stuff going in. So, you know, so I do cry a lot. Yeah. And it helps me, you know.
Yeah, it does. It's a powerful thing. Obviously, all people have this, but I think fortunately, it's been discussed a lot more these days around men specifically.
Yeah.
And because we're kind of taught to be like this macho, like, you know, nothing can hurt me. And we just kind of walk through life, like with the shields up, working hard, providing, you know, looking after the kids, trying to make money, you know, trying to always constantly comparing yourself to other people. And that's why, unfortunately, I mean, the talked about a lot, the suicide rate amongst men is through the roof at the moment. It's completely out of control. So that's why there's been this explosion of men's group work, which for anyone out there who is struggling, men specifically, and I'm sure there's obviously there's women's groups, but
so
the men's
a lot of support
work
groups,
the men's work stuff is incredibly powerful, but you've got to, man, you got to be
honest
prepared
with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself.
But you've got to be prepared for what you're going to go through. Intense is an understatement, because it's men that get pushed to a point by working with these professional coaches where the raw, you know, just raw emotion is released, and that can come out in many, many ways. I've been to a men's group one time. I went to like a 2-day event in London, and it was pretty intimidating, because you've got some big guys, you know, and there's like a lot of roaring and screaming and crying, and it's like, wow, to witness that, let alone to be in it, to be part of it, it's serious stuff.
But it's important. Yeah, very healing. That's the main.
Very healing. But one of the, you know, before we come on here, and we were kind of talking between ourselves about social media, and I don't know about you, but, you know, and I hear it a lot from people, you know, I open up my feed and it's just one after another, people who, you know, some I know, some I don't, but it just seems to be littered of people who are, you know, at the gym at 5 a.m, sitting in an ice bath, taking selfies of themselves and then posting it with this. And it's all the same quotes, you know, it's all the same stuff that they've just picked off some Facebook motivational YouTube site or whatever. And it's like, dude, like, I know, like, good on you for like posting. I know you're doing it because that's what they tell you to do, but come on, like, I know that you're not, I know that everything's not amazing for you. So, and what do? You know, we sit there and we look at that stuff and it's like, oh, everyone else seems to be flying high. You know, and I can't find the time to even have lunch, you know, and treat myself right, make a sandwich, let alone sit in an ice bath at 5 a.m. What do you think about that? Do you get a lot? Do you get a lot of that on your feed?
A lot on my feed, 100%. Yeah, I am sick of it too. And I have to say, I hate social medias for that reasons. You know, I'm not comfortable with social medias before, partly because I do compare myself with a lot of people. And every time when I just look through it, you know, it just makes me feel like really unworthy. It makes me feel, it pushes me back, you know, a lot of time, because I felt like, man, I haven't done enough this week. I haven't done enough today. You know, how come I've tried so hard? Nothing ever worked. And it's again and again and again, constant failure all the time, and nothing worked. And then look at that guy over there. He's flying through the roof. You know, so it makes me question myself all the time. And instead of helping me to go forward, you know, it pushed me back into that deep, dark place even more. And I don't think it's healthy at all. You know, yes, I understand that, you know, visibility is credibility, but I think honesty and integrity is important too.
I must admit, when I was up this morning at, you know, 2:30 doing my 90-minute high intensity, you know, workout, I was thinking, man, Pooh's still in bed. And here I am, 2:30 in the morning doing my 90-minute HIIT workout. This lazy guy, this bum's never going to get anywhere with an attitude like that. It is annoying. Have you seen the clip and it's so ridiculous that it's kind of started to go viral. That wasn't the point of it, but it's that American, I think he's a property guy. His name's like Chris Crone or something like that. And he's like, you know, Mr. Perfect, worth hundreds of millions. You know, he's like 30 something. He's got the perfect family, blah, 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 blah. Good looking guy, ripped. And he's being interviewed and he's talking about his routine. And it's like, yeah, so, you know, I get up at 3 a.m. and I go straight into my, you know, 23-minute, you know, mindfulness meditation. And it is so regimented.
Yeah.
And so far-fetched and ridiculous. You know, it's somewhere between 3 a.m. and 9 a.m. where they take the kids to school. He's already spent 45 minutes of one-on-one time with his wife where they've, you know, meditated together and, you know, got to know each other again and spoke about their, you know, most far-reaching memories of each other. He's meditated, he's done his workout, then he's detoxed, and then he's had an ice bath, and then he's gone for and then he's gone for a run. It's like, and then it's 9 o'clock, and it's, you know, and then it's take the kids to school.
Yep.
And the guy who is interviewing him is like, he's like, my God. It's like, you do that every day? And he's like, what time do you go to sleep if you get up at 3? And he's expecting him to say like, oh, you know, I'm in bed by 7. But he said, yeah, I'm in bed by about 10:30 or 11. You know, I don't need much. I don't need much sleep. It's like, God, this guy's either friggin' nuts or he's like inhuman.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I go to bed every night and say, I am going to get up at 6. And my alarm goes off at 6. And if I'm up and out of bed before 7, I put that down as a success. You know, it's like, that's real life. Like, I'm friggin' tired.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen like some books, you know, like, what is it? Miracle Mornings by Hal Elrod. And he started to do the same routine again from 4 in the morning. He said, yeah, if you sleep, you know, 4 hours a day, you'll be fine. No.
No, it might be all right for Elon Musk, but I'm not built like that.
No, for most people, you know, it's not real. You can't have sex before 9 in the morning, you know.
You got to brush your teeth. You got to get rid of the morning breath.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I need.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, this whole ice bath thing as well. I mean, it seems to have really blown up, and I'm sure there's benefits to it. And sometimes I get enough of it, like in my face through social media, that every now and then I'm like, you know, there's enough people doing it. You know, maybe I should try and start with like the cold showers. Every morning I get up and I get in the shower, I'm like, yeah, I just want a nice long hot shower and a cup of coffee. Like, I can't imagine anything worse than having a freezing cold shower.
I think the thing is, whatever you do, you know, whatever makes people happy, really, but it has to be sustainable, you know, so you can build into your routine, daily routine, to become a discipline, you know, the way that you're going to live your life going forward, and make it sustainable. That's
sustainable. That's the key word.
That's the main thing. Yep. So
I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that getting up early and having a routine is I absolutely think it's fundamental to being good in life, in business, in relation, in everything. Like, you've got to, like, basics, make your bed, you know, do some exercise, have a healthy breakfast. But you don't need to be getting up at 2:30 in the morning and being David Goggins in order to.
Do you see Mark Wahlberg as well?
Yeah, he starts at 2:30 or something, doesn't he? He's in the,
I mean, he's one of my favorite actors, and he lost an incredible amount of weight. But I'm not surprised that he's gone to that length. But to me, he doesn't look healthy at all. You know, he's just.
When he used to be jacked when he was like a model, when he was doing like the Calvin Klein stuff, he was like, but now, he looks like just small and.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, he might be happy, which is good for him, but like, in my eyes, you don't look healthy at all.
Yeah.
You know, to be waking up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, start to train himself by 4 a.m. You know, and then he said he go to bed about 7 or 8, or is it 7 or 8?
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't have time with the families, and you know, it's just, I don't know how things.
How does that
works.
how does that work?
Like by 8 o'clock, I'm still putting my girls to bed.
Right.
You know, so she would be asleep by 9, and that's when I have a bit of time to myself to do a little bit more before I head to bed about 10, and
But
then
you get up quite early, don't you?
yeah, I get about 5 in the morning. So, and
Is
my
that
routine, super high intensity training.
well, what do you do when you get up? Hit the
Oh,
drive-through
just like the
McDonald's?
other routines. No. I wake, well, because that's my kind of body clock that I wake up at about 5.
So that's natural.
Um,
No alarm
that's
clock.
natural. Yeah. So I'm
And
fine with that.
you're like ding, you're like wide awake, ready to go.
Not quite. I mean, what I'd like to do, because I like to have my quiet time by myself in the morning, and that's apparently for me that's the only slot that I have. So I tend to be up about 5, and then just do my exercise, which is only 30 minutes by myself, and just sit quietly for a bit, and from 6 o'clock I'm getting myself ready because my day starts then. Like by 6:30, I'm gonna have to get my girl to get ready, and then the day just roll on until the evening, and it start again. So
So with the exercises, do you? Because I think even that, a lot of people don't even know. Like they'd like to do that, but they don't even really know what to do. And that's half the battle. Is well, I wouldn't even know where to start. If exercising hasn't been a big part of your life, but what do you do? Do you like follow an app or
I
something?
follow programs. So I use the Beachbody program called T25 by Sean T,
Yeah,
which I love that,
T25.
guys. Yeah, I enjoy that.
That's
And
quite hard, right?
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, but you can do at your own pace. So you don't have to push yourself way too hard. It's just whatever you feel like how much you want to push yourself. That's up to you. But it's
I remember
25
years
minutes of
ago,
hard work. Yeah.
I tried the Insanity years ago
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
couldn't get through it. Too much for
Yeah.
me. The Sean T one.
I did that too. It was hard,
Man,
really hard. So
that guy's something else.
yeah. But I think the thing is, every time that I exercise, I felt great. The endorphins came out and everything. It's great. That's probably the only thing that keeps my mindset, to keep going with everything that's happening. That's it. To me, that is the only cure. So otherwise I wouldn't be able to maintain.
Yeah. Exercise is massively underrated. Everyone's looking for, these really advanced techniques.
There's nothing really. You just go out and do something to make you sweat, and that's all. So
yeah, I mean, if I go like right now, just because I've been like busy with stuff and running around a few early starts, I've missed because I do the same. I do like a 25-minute. I just do like the Joe Wicks workout, which probably isn't as intense, but depends how much you want to do. Like you said, it's tailorable. But still, after a couple of days, I feel slow. I feel like like just a bit lethargic. Then you start eating crap food, and you're like, tomorrow, and
I find the hardest thing, like say for me at the moment, because I've got young families, is the broken sleep with the from let's say with the baby, and when you don't have a good sleep, it's hard to do exercise. It's just catch-22 situation. Because how can you exercise if you're like half dead?
So do you have times when you wake up and you're like, I just can't, just haven't got it in me? You skip it?
Yeah, 100%. Yep, all the time. But the thing is that you have to force yourself. I have to force myself to do it, because once I skip for a week, then suddenly it becomes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and suddenly you look back, 8 months gone, and put on 20 kilos back.
20 kilos, yeah.
Well, I mean, I put on weight quite easily, so and I lose weight quite quickly as well. So,
something that stuck with me that Tony Robbins said, who's obviously the absolute guru of all gurus. He said that when he wakes up and he's got his morning ritual, sometimes when he wakes up and he feels like that, his rule is he doesn't give himself the time to think about it, which makes a lot of sense. Like,
yeah.
You know, we all wake up, the alarm goes off, we swing our legs out the bed, and then we sit there and we think about what we've got in front of us. But if you don't even give it that second thought, it's like, no, like this is just what I've got to do. So however that
makes, I think if you do it, you know, consistent enough, it just becomes a routine, right? And then once you get into your routine, it's easy because you just wake up and do it. So yeah. The hardest thing for me was like when I stopped exercising for a long time was to go out to do any kind of exercise at all, or even to press a play button. I wouldn't do it. I said, man, I have to think so much. Have I got my gear right? Have I got my socks ready? Or I haven't eaten anything yet. Should I have a banana beforehand? Where's my water? Can't find my favorite bottle.
Yeah. Screw it. Do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's
absolutely. I completely buy into that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think you know, just you know, most important is going back to the social media thing is just not, you cannot be so naive as to believe that everybody's doing so much better than you. You've got to keep that at the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, of course there are uber successful people out there, but those people, for the most part, they're just built different. I think, you know, some people are just built differently, and kudos to those. But for the most part, for the majority of us, we all wake up tired. We've all got shit going wrong. We all wish we could be better, smarter, stronger, faster. But at the end of the day, you know, I've just made peace with, you know, just do your best.
With yourself. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Do your best. Whether you're winning or losing, you can go to bed at night and say, you know, I tried. I tried. You know, okay, I had a donut, or you know, that business meeting didn't go as good as it. But it doesn't, like, you turned up.
Yeah.
You turned up. Yep. You know, just don't eat the donut every day. You know, and do your best, and that's it. And sleep peacefully at night.
Yep. Cool. Yep.
So hope that is of value to someone out there who's, you know, and also I would say, just lastly is, and it's pretty obvious, right? But put a limit on the amount of shit that you're consuming.
100%, yep.
You know, a lot of mentors and successful people, they've got this really hard rule that for the first 30 minutes or an hour when they wake up, no phones, no phones, no Instagram, no Facebook. And then of course people say, yeah, well, but you know, my alarm's on my phone, and start with, you know, get another alarm.
Yeah.
And when you go to bed, turn your phone off, put it in the drawer in another room, and ignore it. Oh yeah, but my workout's on my phone. Do the workout on your computer,
on your laptop,
on your
somewhere
laptop.
Else you can chip.
You know, keep away from your phone until you've done your bits and pieces in the morning, because it's so distracting, and it can start you off in a real shitty mood.
Yeah,
if you open your eyes and look straight at those messages.
Yes. Great.
Cool.
Yep. Well, we've got a great session today. So
yeah, enjoyed that. Thanks, brother.
Cool.
And yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Hope that was of value. We'd love to hear your feedback. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you again here in the hottest place for everything Airbnb and property with us, Alex and Pooh and the Airbnb Nomads. And we'll see you next week.